Welcome back to Tabletop 24. Welcome back to the UKGE show floor. I'm with Evelyn of Mighty Board. So we're going to have a look at a couple of games that we may have seen before and one that's got a bit of a new expansion coming out. But we're going to start with Fate Forge. So tell us what we've got going on with Fate Forge.
So Fate Forge, this is the latest prototype you're seeing on the table. Fate Forge is actually going to print in 2 weeks. So what backers have backed, this is it. We've added some new things, so they get really excited. We announced a new map last week. So if you want, I'll show you. We had postponed production by a month because we really want to finish this map. The thing is, because Fate Forge, it's a dungeon crawler, right? But a much more accessible dungeon crawler, and as every dungeon crawler has a campaign to it with a lot of story. To immerse people into that story, the first aspect of it is that it's based on an existing RPG from Studio Agathe, the booth next to us. But the second part is that we felt there was still something missing, right, of really getting people into the world. So what we did is we created this map. And as you can see, this map is really, really detailed. So as I can show you, like you see, for example, this little arrow over here in the building.
Yeah.
There are some map exploration quests that will tell you to find 3 buildings with the arrows in the wall because you're trying to find a secret society that will help you out and stuff like that. So like you will have a little party mini that will travel over the map, and the app will help you with the story. So imagine, for example, you're standing on this square, you see these arches behind you, you hear the clatter of people. So it will really immerse you into the city. You're trying to find your way in there. So this is a really important thing that we wanted to add to the game.
And everything's quite deliberate. Everything has its place and everything's there for a reason.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you decide, of course, where you want to go. So for example, the app will tell you, you're standing there, do you go north, do you go south, do you go east? So you can decide like where you go on the map, like how you find your things, exactly.
Perfect.
So that's what we added. Apart from that, so this is everything you can see. Like we've upgraded all the components, so they're now near final. We might do a little tweaks before we go to print, but this is it. So the team has been working really, really hard. We now have, the campaign is over 75,000 words, so it's a massive, massive story. The cool thing about it is that because of the choices and the variables in the game, you have 4 different main endings, but over 100 variables. So you might meet certain characters, like you might meet certain bosses, you might not go through certain combats at all, depending on the choices you make. So every group of people that plays it will have a completely different.
Okay. And what makes it so accessible to people?
So what makes it accessible is that, like usually dungeon crawlers take 4 or 5 hours to play, you need a lot of space to set up, you need a big table to keep it set up usually because you can't really store it, right, easily. So what we wanted to do is create that same dungeon crawler experience, but accessible. What that means is you can play Fate Forge in sessions of an hour. You can still play for 4 or 5 hours, of course, if you want to, but you could stop after an hour. The second thing is that the rules, it will come with a little tutorial, and the rules will be gradually taught to you, so it's much easier to get into. And the third thing is that there's an app. So the app is not the dominant thing because we didn't want the app to be the dominant thing, but it basically does all your bookkeeping and it saves your progress, all of these things. So as you can see, like now we have 2 combat setups, so usually the table is only half of this setup space. And if you would save your game after this, so for example for your hero, like all the skills you have, the armor, the abilities, the weapons that you have, you would store them in your little hero box. You just put them in, and next time you take it back out very easily, to start again. The app will remember your story, your choices, so whenever you want to jump back in, it will tell you, this happened last time, jump back in, this is it. So that's what we mean with much more accessible, we call it medium weight, it's not heavier than that. So once you get into it, it's very easy. Like you will go through a lot of different variables in the game. Like for example, we have 96 different enemies. So there will be a lot of different things happening, of course also in the story, a lot of things going on. But the main system, once you get away with it, it's very easy to know.
So it's Friday the 2nd of June.
Yes.
We are at the end of Hamlet week, aren't we?
We are.
So Hamlet's been played behind us. Hamlet is a shared resource village building, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
So, but what's the exciting news from this week?
So the exciting news from this week is that we have announced this guy. So this is the expansion for Hamlet, the first expansion, coming to Kickstarter in July. So this is the beautiful box art made by Yusuf Artoun, the same artist who did the first box art. There you go. So UKGE is actually the first time you get to see this. So we got the prototype made right before, the week before. So it will be on the table. You can see, like in place lakes now in those tiles. The lakes will score you points. You will be able to expand your network by putting boats on there. And the cool thing about the boats is that it's like a flag building. So you put your flag in it, and you're the only one who can get through it and get access to the tiles that are there. So this could be like a sneaky way of, for example, keeping some resources to yourself, or like just closing off some parts of the village. And a third thing is that obviously lakes come with fish. So you can go fishing. So it's a new action to go fishing. And when you fish, you will actually have to fish into a bag, get some fish out of there. And there's 3 types of fish that will give you coins or abilities that you can use when playing the game. So that's the new thing. So there's the prototype now to play.
And when are we expecting to see that? That's going to be crowdfunded?
It's going to be crowdfunded on Kickstarter, July 11th.
Okay,
Yeah.
so not long now before we can get that. And is the base game going to be reprinted along with the expansion on the campaign?
So now that's why Hamlet Week happened. We've just released the retail edition of the game, right? It came out in the US. It's going to release now in Europe as well. So slowly will be available everywhere. But yes, so the retail edition is slightly different from the Kickstarter edition because we have different components that come with it. So they're not screen printed. The coins, for example, are not metal coins. But for the Kickstarter, we will have the Founders Deluxe edition again. So for both the base game and the expansion. We have done some changes. We will release everything in Kickstarter updates, so you can follow up everything we announced there. So returning backers will get some freebies, for example. New backers will be able to get deals on the whole package. So yes, people can just easily follow up on our
Perfect. And the original Founders editions were numbered printed, but the reprint isn't going to be numbered. So those people that did go in first and support the original campaign still have that unique copy.
They have their special copies, yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Exactly.
So that's brilliant. Thank you for your time now, Evelyn. Obviously, check out the crowd linking down below, all the links to these guys. So when that comes live, you'll be able to pick that up. But check out all the videos from the convention, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.